Hey guys, Justin here from Simplified Investing. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. As we do every weekend, this is going to be our weekly watch list video highlighting the 5 plays that we are watching for the week. So with that being said, the 5 plays this week, the first one being Netflix, second one being Shop, third one being Roku, fourth one being NVDA, and then the fifth one being Peloton. Hope you guys all have a great week and stay tuned for further detailed breakdowns. Thank you. So getting things started, the first thing that we like to do, as you guys have seen in our previous videos, is do a market breakdown. This week we'll be going a little further in depth on the market as we have been seeing a lot of weakness on this, and we do have an important meeting here this week. So that being said, the current structure /NQ looking incredibly weak here, trying to break down on these lows that we saw back here at the beginning of October. Pushing through that, the thing that concerns me is when we started here, we get this high volume selling pressure. So this clearly tells us who is in control by looking at the volume, which we're trading 1.6x on a NASDAQ futures, which is a significant amount. And then we go into, okay, what's the price action telling us? Well, clearly we opened up here, it touched a wick at 14,850 and closed down 420 points lower. So clearly sellers are in control of this market here. The NASDAQ looking incredibly weak. We continue to see weakness on the S&P 500 as well as the Dow Jones. Really a time of a pullback period here. High anticipation heading into the FOMC meeting this week. Something to note, that will be here on the 25th and 26th of this week. This does lead to market volatility. A lot of times up to that, you do get a lot of consolidation in range days as the market is trying to predict what's going to be released here in this meeting. Really the thing to watch is the monetary policies. Are they going to be easing on their asset purchases? And really about the Fed funds rate. Are they going to be increasing at this during this meeting, or what are they going to do? Now the market anticipates 3 rate hikes this year, so anything other than that will lead to more market volatility, as this will be unknown news. So keep an eye on that. Again, sellers still in control of the NASDAQ market here. Continued lower lows here, breaking through this 14,500 support that I really wanted to hold here. And this is really determinant of a weak market where you get normally a gap up here and then selling into the close. That is what we have been seeing lately. That's an indication of a weak market where you gap open higher and then sell off and fade into the afternoon. Now, if you wanted a bull market, you'd want to open lower and then close higher, indicating that the buying pressure is coming in intraday. So very weak market here. You can see from this ThinkScript study, so many sellers here on the market now. Really what you want to see is not just chase the market because it's at lows. You want to find consolidation or an accumulation phase to play this. It's really hard to catch a falling knife, especially when you have no confirmation yet here. So NASDAQ market looking really, really weak here. Lower levels below here, we do have a support region at that 14,000 level. It is going to be a whole dollar psychological level that a lot of institutions will be interested in this at. But again, looking very, very weak here on this one in the coming week. First play, I'm sure for those of you that did watch the market on Friday have noticed Netflix trading 1,636% of the normal volume. So an astronomical amount of volume on a big red day, and this is coming from a very bad earnings miss. You can see even from the EPS perspective, 3.75 a year ago into $1.33. So yes, the estimates were low, but it shows that the business is slowing down. Their guidance and their forward earnings or their forward subscriber growth was very bad, hence why the stock is down over 20%. So from a daily perspective, hitting the 52-week lows, that 380 region really had, on Friday, had massive orders of bids that would not let this level break. I want to see 380 break here this coming week to watch Netflix to the downside again. On Friday, there was massive orders at this level. It continuously failed to break below that region with any meaningful movement. You can see we tested this multiple times. Let's go into the 5-minute right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we tested this level 4 times. Could not break. Bids holding that 380 region very, very strong. So confirmation here would be that breakdown with volume below 380 for a earnings gap. Follow through to the downside as we have gotten a lot of weakness here on Netflix within the coming week. Second play, one that has been demolished as well, and this is just going to be from a market perspective. And we are getting 400% volume. So 4x the normal amount of volume on Shopify here on Friday. Again, closing down over 13, almost 14%, as we continuously get these high growth stocks that are getting destroyed by the NASDAQ market being pulled back. So watching this one here, if we do go out and we zoom out into a weekly time frame perspective, you can see this topping pattern into this lower low here. Really what I would like to see, confirmation on this one will be below this 888 region, basically 889. You can see from a weekly perspective, this is where we really held here back in 9/14 and then back here also on 11/9 of 2020 before we did form that upward movement here on Shopify. So again, pulling back here, confirmation here below that 888 region, 889, as we are looking very, very weak here on Shopify, and the market continues to show weakness here. So waiting on this confirmation. Really two setups you could see on this one is a further breakdown retest of this 889 region and pull back down and push down, or a continued follow through and push into lower lows with high volume. We'll be eyeing to scalp this one to the downside within the coming week. Third play, one that's been on our watch list recently as well to the downside and continuously gets hammered down, is going to be Roku. It is going to be one of those growth stocks that just so happens to be getting hit very, very hard here recently on the NASDAQ pulling back. Nothing crazy for volume. We're trading 1.16x the normal amount of volume, not the 2x that I would like to see. But we are pushing 52-week lows, which always does set up for a put potential opportunity on a follow through here. So really what we see here is we attempted to form a low volume reversal here on 114 all the way through 120, where you can see the sellers took control of 180 here, pushing it down. Now we're breaking down of this consolidation base here and really looking very, very weak to push this to the downside here on Roku. Now, when we are at 52-week lows here, you do have to resort to intraday levels to watch. So we'll be watching this intraday. Likely going to have a very big psychological level at 150. Just from being a whole dollar region, institutions will be interested at this price level. Watching if we can break down below that. Watching to scalp Roku intraday here, playing puts to the downside on a continued breakdown here. Key will be watching that 150 and really watching the tape on how those offers come through at that region. Fourth play, one that's also been beat down too. It seems to be a common theme for those of you who are watching the market. It's very weak market right now, pulling back. A lot of weak setups here, a lot of selling, and NVIDIA fits this to a T. So really why I like this one is we get this morning move to the upside here on volume, but you can see that volume is getting met with all these sellers from 247 all the way closing down here to 233.74. So clearly tells you who is in control of NVIDIA. Buyers not being able to hold this up on the trying to move to the upside. Sellers still in control here. I do think this one can see sub 230 within the coming week and even test down here lows at that 220 region as we do get continued weakness here on NVIDIA. Now, a follow through with the market should see the follow through on NVIDIA. A lot of these are going to be tracking the indice now. When the indice is very, very weak, these high growth names typically are much more weak as they are going to be hit harder. They do typically also have very high betas, which means they are more volatile than the market. So NVIDIA looking very, very weak here. You can see the sellers are in control. You had some high volume here, 1.5x, nothing over 2x with that I would like to see. But the price action is telling the true story here. We pushed up to 248, closed down here at 233.74. So sellers still in control of this one. I do think we can touch down here towards those lows at 220, where it would be a region to watch this one here in the coming week. And the last one that's been a headliner all over the news if you've been watching the markets, there was a report that Peloton was going to stop production of or delay their production, stop it currently because of low demand for their bikes and treadmills. CEO comes on Friday morning and says that disputes this and says this isn't true. So really, this is going to be a news play. News plays always have an added dimension of volatility, and that is something to note here with Peloton. You can see trading a huge amount of volume here, 5x the normal range of 21 million. And this on Thursday was the day where that news came out. We halted to the downside several times. And Friday, when the market was way down, the reason why Peloton was up was from those CEO remarks. So what I would like to see is intraday on Friday, we really struggled to break out over 28. If we do zoom in on a shorter time frame here, we get these spikes here into 28, and then we get rejected with that selling pressure. Now, this is a false breakout move here and pushing down to the downside. So really two setups that I am seeing here on this one. First setup being over 28, potential to scalp this one to the upside, or below this 24 region here, 24 region support, we'll be eyeing puts to the downside here. So really, this is a news play. It could go either way. It really depends on the remarks from the CEO, what's actually happening. That will be moving Peloton here in the coming weeks. So 28 and 24, both regions to watch here. Two setups that you could potentially have here on Peloton, as we do see continued market participants in this equity name as we are trading over 5x the normal amount of volume. That being said, that wraps up our watch list video for the week. If you did enjoy this video, if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. If you are interested in getting our daily alerts, our course, and more, feel free to check out simplified-investing.com today. We would love to have you guys on board. Hope you guys all have a great rest of the weekend and a great green week. Thank you.